What's up, guys? How are you doing? Let's get ready for a new episode. And today we are going to talk about 6 tips to smash the NoFap journey. All right. So I will give you my personal tips for it, and no bullshit on here. All right. So let's go for it. Starting with one of my favorites, which is reject poor coping skills. All right. There are a number of coping skills that you can develop, healthy coping skills, and none of them are overeating too much sugar. None of them are too fat at the minimal sign of stress. The skills are not also venting to other people recklessly and making every single people around you get away from you. So those are the poor coping skills that you don't learn at school, and you just do them because you don't know any better. So you should reject those poor skills, those poor coping skills, and go after the real coping skills, the real and healthy ways of handle stress and trauma and whatever it is. All right, because you have to understand that this is one of the best investments you can do in your to your mental health, to your thinking, and you should invest on it. You should invest on problem solving skills, because whenever you have a problem, a situation of stress, a trauma, emotional warfare, whatever it is, the root cause is some sort of problem you have. And one of the best coping skills you can develop and utilize is problem solving. Solve your problems, and your distress, your emotional warfare, your traumas will fade away, and that's what you should do whenever you have problems, whenever you feel bored. That's a problem you have to solve, and not try to find a fast and cheap escape that will, on the other hand, make you get crippled and addicted. So this is one of the most important things that you should have in your mind. Now let's go to the number 2. The number 2 will be reject thinking on sex all the time. Okay? The least you think on sex, the better. The least you think on sex, the better. And the reason is very simple. What you gonna do with all that sex thinking? What you gonna do? There is nothing you can do with that. There is very little you can gain with it. And if you are always thinking on sex, you should try and train yourself to think on something else. There are a lot of things you can do. You can start tracking when you think on sex the most, and what can be the cause for that. If it's because you are procrastinating, or because you are bored and have nothing else to do, there are many reasons why you might be thinking on sex all the time. Maybe you just don't have control over your subconscious and your mind. There are many reasons, and you have to do an analysis on your mind. You have to stop and think why that is happening, and then depending on the issue, you can apply different solutions. All right. If it is because you are bored, well, you have to find ways to entertain yourself. If it is because you are not used to having sex and then you get overstimulated, you have to work on sorts of focus. You have to learn how to focus and let things go, and it's problems you have to solve. So first things first, you have to identify on which situations you think and why that happens, and then you have to solve those problems and try and experiment with different solutions, to see which one works the best for you. Next, we have relearn how to entertain yourself. All right, this is very important because many people that fap because sometimes they are bored and they have nothing more to do and it's late in the night, so they fap because fap is a guaranteed rush of dopamine, is a guaranteed rush of pleasure, so they do that. What you should do instead is search for new entertaining ways in your life that can bring you as much joy, that can bring you as much value to your daily life. You should try to entertain yourself in a way that it doesn't cripple your future, it doesn't cripple your future relations, and that still is able to take you from whatever reality you are in and transport you to a new world. All right. So I can suggest a couple of entertainment that you can do, starting with reading. All right, you can read, and you can read many types of materials. When I say read, I don't mean like self-help or personal growth material. You can read fantasy books. You can read specific topics like finance or something like that, which will help you better manage your money in the future. There are many types of books that you can read that can help you, and you don't need to be serious all the time. You can go for something goofy, but the thing is to entertain yourself in a healthy manner, because as animals we need to play and get entertained, and you need to explore that. So you can read, you can go for TV series, but that can become boring. But you can find good series. There are good series, and you can go to review sites, communities on Reddit, and get thousands of recommendations for good series. And these two, both reading and TV, are sort of passive ways of entertaining yourself, but you can try to entertain yourself in a more proactive way. You can entertain yourself through hobbies. You can create a new hobby and start exploring your hobby. Every time you get bored, you go to your hobby and you play around with it. You can go with painting. You can go with writing. You can go with mounting and unmounting stuff. You can go with mechanics. You can go with programming. You can do many things to entertain yourself, both in a passive approach and on a active, proactive approach. And it is very important. It is very important to learn how to entertain yourself, because the best you can entertain yourself in a healthy manner, the far away you will be from sleeping on thinking that you can go entertain yourself with NoFap and pornography. All right. So let's do a quick recap. First, let's reject poor coping skills. Let's reject thinking on sex all the time, and let's relearn how to entertain ourselves. All right. So we are in the middle of our list. I don't know how much time we are taking. Let's continue, and don't forget to subscribe and click the like button, because that's important for me as well, to know whether or not you are appreciating my tips. So right now, let's move then to the fourth tip. All right, fourth tip, and the fourth tip is to choose real over virtual. All right, choose real over virtual. This is very, very important, because we are living more and more in a digital world and a virtual world. All right, and it's very easy to get absorbed by the virtual world and start forgetting about the real world. All right. There are many ways this can manifest in your life, and it can translate to more virtual relations, more virtual communication, more virtual sex, and this is, in my opinion, where you don't want to be, at least most of your time, because at the end of the day, real communication is what delivers the real interactions, is what delivers the highest levels of satisfaction, if you are with the right people. And most of the best experiences that happens in one's life are from real interactions, from real and natural and close and person-to-person interactions. So choose real, become good with real interactions, real communication, sex, and relationships, and let the virtual options for when it is absolutely needed. So this is a thought that I want to share with you, because there is a place for virtual interactions in this world. It is invaluable. However, one should be aware of the dangers of having the virtual world play a more significant role than the real interactions. And I want to stress this, because there are people that have more virtual communication through text-based applications and stuff like that than they have communication person to person speaking, and the same applies to sex. There are people that have more virtual sex than real sex, and that doesn't take them nowhere, because when a real scenario comes, they will not be prepared, or will most likely not be prepared to face a real situation, and therefore will fail to build real relationships. Is the typical person that it is something in the virtual world and something completely different in the real world. So depending on what you want, you better have the real side of you well prepared. Next, tip number 5, learn to let go. Learn to let go. This is so important, guys. You can't imagine how important it is. Learn to let go is the key to overcome NoFap. Learn to let go is the key to let NoFap go. Alright? And win NoFap. Because especially when you are starting NoFap, you will have your subconscious recommending the bad stuff. All the bad, juicy stuff will be recommended to you by your subconscious at the moments of most weakness. Your subconscious really knows how to get the best of you, how to win you over. And the moments of weakness will be explored by your subconscious, and there is nothing you can do about but to fight back. So, one of the most effective ways to win against your subconscious, and we will talk about this in the future, that you should have your subconscious on your side, but now that you don't know enough to do that, you should let go. Let go. Learn to let go, and your subconscious will not win you over. Your subconscious will fail. The recommendations that he gives you when you are bored or whatever will not be effective because you let them go. You let them go. And what I mean by letting go, it means that it is late at night, 2 a.m., you have nothing to do, you can't sleep, and your subconscious will recommend you go watch some porn. Go watch some porn. And you know that you don't want to do it. But then, with that recommendation, you feel tempted. And what you should do? You should do why. You should start thinking why. Why I will do this. First defense mechanism. Why I will do this. And then you start thinking on why you should do it or you shouldn't do it. And then you should start thinking on all the reasons why you don't want to do it. And once you go over those reasons and have decided that you don't want to do it consciously, even though you might subconsciously want to do it, you don't want to do it consciously. Once you decide that, the next step is very simple, and you know what it is to let go. Alright? So the trick here of learning to let go is very simple. Your subconscious will do bad recommendations because that's how it's trained to, and you will get those recommendations, will process those recommendations and apply your consciousness to the subconscious recommendations. And when you decide that you don't want to follow the recommendation, you let go. It's as simple as this. And this is of utter importance for you to overcome NoFap, and you have to practice this as much as you can. All right? And the toughest time is the first one. The first time you let go is the toughest one, but the following times will be easier, will be much easier, and you will start to get the grip of it, and in no time you have learned a skill that is so much important to your life that you can even imagine. All right? And I could be talking here about the importance of letting things go. And I can give you real life applicabilities of this technique. For instance, you have no idea, especially if you never created a YouTube video or content in your life, but it's very common to feel anxious when you create content. Like whether or not people will like it. When does the time come to release the video? I wish I could release it now, you know? So there are many reasons for thinking on all the things behind the release of a video. But if you learn to let go, you can let those thoughts go, and you do the same process. The process is get the subconscious recommendations. Process the subconscious recommendations. Decide whether or not you will follow the recommendations. And then, if you choose to go other way, you let go the subconscious recommendations and follow your path. All right? And this is the most important thing. When you decide to let go, you don't try to remember or justify why you let go, because you already have done that processing. And many people, when they are faced with these subconscious recommendations, their issue is with this final step of letting go. And this final step is very tricky, because if you decide to let go and then doubt on your decision, you will enter in a loop where you say you let go, no, but maybe, and then you let go again, and then the thoughts come in circles, in a loop, until you lose the battle, most likely lose the battle, and you were only able to let go for fractions of time, and but ended up losing the battle. So you don't want to be that guy. Learning to let go means to receive what your subconscious recommends you. If you don't agree with it, let it go and never think on it again. Because if you start thinking on why you are letting it go, you will or might lose the battle. Don't do it. Don't try to justify your conscious decisions. Just let it go. And continue whatever you are doing, whatever you are going to do. So 6, to end up this impromptu YouTube upload, make sure you have time to take care of yourself and your issues, your businesses, whatever it is. All right? This is very important. Because if you don't have time for yourself and your stuff, you will feel more anxious and stressed. And this is a trigger for fapping and masturbating and all those things. So you don't want to be in a position where you are always stressed out. And if you are on that situation, you should work your ass to leave that situation and become stable and have time for yourself and your business. And go to sleep early and have good habits. That's what you should do. All right? That's what you should do. You should focus on taking care of yourself, because that will lead to a healthier mind. You know, you will have more time to cope with your problems and apply healthy solutions. So these 6 tips that I give you to smash the NoFap journey, they are all related, and they will make you a better person. Alright? So let's recap them. Reject poor coping skills like overeating, fapping, venting. Forget that. Next, reject thinking on sex all the time. It is useless. It only triggers you to think more on fapping on weak situations. Relearn how to entertain yourself. Relearn how to entertain yourself. Okay? Because if you are always recurring to fapping, is because you don't know how to entertain yourself, especially if you are doing it because you are bored. You have to relearn how to do it. Choose real over virtual. You should choose real interactions, real communication, real sex, real relationships. That's the goal of life. Don't diminish that and prefer virtual options. Virtual options have a place, but it's not all the time in your lives. Then 5, learn to let go. Learn to let go. This is one of the most important things that you can learn in your life, and it is simple. You just have to learn the fundamentals of let go. Process whatever the subconscious recommends you. Take a decision on the recommendation, and if the decision is to follow other direction, just let the subconscious recommendation go. And last but not least, make sure you have time to take care of yourself. Create time for yourself and to improve and think on your life and all those things. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I think it was a long episode, but it is what it is. This is value for NoFap community. Let me know what you think. Subscribe, like, and share with the community.